Hello everyone, and we're back here with episode 4. So last time, we were talking to Celeste's mom, and I believe she told us to go talk to Celeste now, so we will go do that. Oh, you're back. Did you forget something? Actually, there's one last thing I wanted to talk to you about. Oh? Earlier you said something that I just can't let go. You said that your father died hating you, but after everything I heard about him, I don't think that's true. Your father loved you, Celeste, even in his final moments. He desperately wants to reach her. If she keeps believing that he hated her, that thought will eat away at her for the rest of her life. You know that better than anyone. Getting some lore on Tyrion? He's just lying to make me feel better. But it looks like it won't be that simple. You'll need to win an argument against her if you want her to see the truth. Let's just do it. Celeste believes that her father died hating her. But after seeing them together and learning about them, you know that can't possibly be true. You just need to convince her of that. I know you're just trying to make me feel better, and I really do appreciate it. But everyone knows that my father hated mages. We have the sister. Let me see. I don't know if it's my place to say this, but there's a reason why your father hated magic so much. What? When Flintheart was a child, he had a younger sister. She was tragically killed by a mage decades ago. That's why he had such an immense hatred for magic. Sorry. I never knew. But that doesn't change anything. That's all the more reason for him to have hated me. It was selfish of me to learn magic. I knew how much he hated magic, but I still learned to use it anyways. Magic killed someone that he loved. No wonder he was furious. Oh, this fight is so sad. Oh my god. I hate it. But you didn't learn magic to benefit yourself, did you? You learned it to save your family after your tavern was shut down. That's... You're a good person, Celeste, and you did everything you could to help your family. I'm sure your father recognized that. Just shut up. What? Shut up! Just stop it. Whatever composure she had before is slowly breaking down. You weren't there. You didn't hear what he said to me. In his final moments, he could only think of how I betrayed him. I could see it in his eyes. There's no way he would ever forgive me. This girl will be 19. Wait. No, I'm 19. Yeah, 19-year-olds are so overdramatic, am I right, y'all? Take a look at this picture, Celeste. What? A shattered bottle? Wait, is that a bottle of lotus juice? Do you know where I found this? On the floor of your family's inn. What? That can't be true. I tried to find it here, but no one sells it in Wyvern Guard. Your father knew how much you loved this drink. He called in quite a few favors just so he could have it imported for you. What? He did that? Your father didn't hate you, Celeste. He loved you more than anything. Oh, this music is so good. That doesn't change anything. If he did that all for me, it was before he knew about my secret. I'm sure he would never have done that if he knew the truth. That's not true at all. What the hell would you know about him? Oh my god. It's weird having cursing in this game after playing like Phoenix, right? You barely even knew him. How could he possibly know how he felt about me? Don't you think I want to believe that he still loved me before he died? But I know the truth. There's no way he would ever forgive me for what I did. It's not just the fact that he bought that drink for you. It's also where the bottle was when it was shattered. What do you mean? Your mother said the bottle was stowed in her room before your argument. But I found the shattered bottle in the lobby where his body was. I ran into him before I went to look for you. He was going upstairs to his room. That can only mean one thing. He went to retrieve the bottle after your argument ended. What? Why would he have it? It's because he was going to give it to you, Celeste. He was going to give you a gift to apologize for what he said for you. He was going to apologize? Your father loved you, Celeste. And as tragic as it is, he was going to try to apologize you before he was murdered. Aw, I don't like this. My daughter working as a mercenary of all things. Come on, Dad. You know I can handle myself. I don't doubt it. But you still shouldn't have to risk your neck for our sakes. They closed the inn, Dad. We won't be able to survive unless I do this. Oh my god. Just be careful, okay? I don't know what I'd do if anything happened to you. No matter what anyone says, you're our daughter. And we'll love you till the day we die. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. Dad, how could I ever think that? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Dad. Celeste had been barely keeping it together through the whole argument, but a realization is finally causing her to break down. She begins crying loudly as she quickly embraces you. In this cold, dark place, she probably hadn't felt warmth for any kind of days. You're caught off guard and feel a little embarrassed, but you comfort her while she vents her emotions. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. This is like Turnabout Sisters, but case 1. Are you feeling better? Yeah, I think I'm okay now. I've been thinking such horrible things this entire time. She looks at you and gives you a warm smile. It's probably the first time you've seen her genuinely smile since this whole ordeal started. Thank you. But is everything really going to be okay? I'll make sure of it. I'll get justice for you and your father. It doesn't matter who stands in my way. Even if they're a man, king, or god. You're completely different now. What happened to the nervous wreck from before? This story is amazing. Please forget about that. Anyways, take some time to rest. The trial is going to resume soon. With that, you've done everything you can for now. You've learned a lot about what happened the night of the murder. You can just hope it's enough. But even with your investigation, you still don't know what the prosecution has planned. One second, let me pause. Okay, sorry about that. Had to check something. What voice? Okay, really sorry about those pauses. I had to grab water, make sure to stay hydrated, y'all. Anyway, let's continue. Has Pierce told you all of the details, Mr. Rudolph? Oh, I'm not clicking on this right. Will you remember them? Yes, I pride myself on my eidetic memory. Just so there are no misunderstandings, I do not approve of this. You said it yourself, Lady Steelwind. There's no possible way that I could have done the deed. It has to be the bastard child. We don't know what sort of tricks Ruby tomorrow might pull tomorrow. Just see this as a way of securing a just verdict. I don't remember his oops, I should have probably just stopped there last episode. Oh, ignore me recording at 1 AM and 11 PM right now. Alright, it's time. Hello, Cuthbert. Oh, hi, Miss Tamora. You're a lot less jumpy than you were yesterday. I'm glad to see that you're finally getting used to things. So, what did you find in your investigation? You tell Miss Tamora. Haha, I would never have to pause again to help out someone. You tell Miss Tamora about everything you've learned over your investigation. There aren't a lot of clues that point to what actually happened. Yeah, I know a lot of details about the crime scene, but nothing about the crime itself. This means I'll have to rely solely on pointing out contradictions in the witnesses' testimonies. Being reactive to the prosecution's move is a valid strategy. Honestly, I think it was a miracle that you got the commander to cooperate with you at all. Right, you almost forgot. Commander White seems to really have it out for Miss Tamora. Actually, I wanted to ask about that. Did something happen between you and Commander White? Miss McCoy, please proceed to the courtroom with your counsel. Let's go, Tyrion. The trial's about to start. You should go. The judge is waiting. Right. Another secret is left buried between you two. Court is now resumed for the trial of Celeste McCoy. Let us review the proceedings from yesterday. Yesterday, the defense presented some shocking oversights made during the... Okay, I hate that voice. Made during the... No. Fuck it. Made during the investigation. Yes, I personally saw to it that the investigation was conducted properly this time. I see. I suppose that puts my mind at ease. At yesterday's trial, we found an inconsistency between the crime scene photo and the autopsy report. Because of this, the defense tried to push the following narrative: that a third party must have interfered with the crime scene to frame the defendant. However, the prosecution has discovered another explanation. Because of that, the individual who discovered the body would like to testify as to what he saw that night. His eyewitness account will clear up what actually happened. Interesting. It was my understanding that the individual in question wants to remain anonymous. Supposedly, this witness was within the gallery of the trial yesterday. After yesterday's proceedings, he felt that he couldn't stay silent any longer. So that's her plan. Well, why would the witness change his mind like that? Did Steven persuade him, or is something else happening here? Very well. Let's hear from this witness. This motherfucker. Sorry, I don't know I said that. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. My name is Rice Reginald Rudolph. I am a chauffeur of the equine of variety. Oh my gosh, my voice are not. I'm terribly sorry, but I'm familiar with that profession. He means to say he's a carriage driver. Oh, I see. But in any case, it's my understanding that you found the body. Am I correct, Mr. Rudolph? Rudolph appears to be writing something in a notebook. He writes with incredible speed. His pen only touches the paper for a second before he's filled an entire page. Mr. Rudolph? Forgive me. I was merely taking notes on the people in this room. Taking notes? The witness has a certain compulsion to keep a record of every event that he witnesses. I see. Then I assume we will receive an accurate testimony of how you found the body. Actually, I witnessed much more than that. I saw the crime as it was being committed, and I wrote down everything that I saw. What? That is quite the claim. If that's true, why did you choose to remain silent until now? We had initially concluded that evidence alone was decisive enough. Therefore, we saw no need at the time for his testimony. However, those circumstances clearly changed during yesterday's trial. There's no way the prosecution wouldn't leverage eyewitness testimony from the start. Something else is happening here. Very well. Mr. Rudolph, please testify to the court about what you saw that night. I was transporting a client to my carriage that evening. We were driving by the McCoy Tavern when we heard a disturbance. This occurred at 1:28 a.m. Worried that something was amiss, I walked into the establishment to see what the commotion was about. There I saw the defendant. She was lit by the blue glow of the dining room lights. She had stabbed Linhart McCoy and was channeling magic into her sword. Okay, well. She removed her sword from Linhart's chest, and as he slowly turned to face her, she stabbed him again in the front. That's so fucking ridiculous. She soon realized that I had witnessed her heinous crime. She let the body fall to the ground and fled the scene. So fucking stupid, dude. Incredible. If everything occurred as the witness described, then I see no room for debate. Of course, the evidence has always been irrefutable. You don't remember seeing him when you left to look for Celeste, but it was pretty dark. Celeste, did you see this man that night? Sorry. No, this is my first time meeting him. And I didn't see him when I ran out of the tavern that night. So he has to be lying. Does that mean he's the one who killed my dad? She tries her best to hide it, but you can sense her restlessness. It's hard to say right now, but it's definitely a possibility. The defense may now begin their cross-examination. I was transporting a client to my carriage that evening. Sorry, it's just really fun to speak like that. Well, there's so many things wrong with that. Where's the light? Okay. We don't even need to press anything. We figured it out. Son. Objection! Mr. Rudolph, you testified that you saw my client murdering the victim. And you supposedly saw her casting magic while doing so? Yes, I could never forget such a grisly sight. Oh, this is from the beginning, right? That moment was burned into my memory. I see. Well, it's funny you say that. How so? Because your entire testimony was a complete lie. What? Are you accusing the witness of perjury? Surely you know that such accusations can't be made lightly, Mr. Cuthbert. My accusation is far from baseless, Prosecutor Steelwind. Take a look at this report. The dining room lights are artificery devices that are powered by an arcane power cell. However, that same arcane power cell is broken during the time of the murder. The dining room lights had no energy, and the room would have been pitch black. The witness couldn't have seen anything, much less a homicide. Wait, I can explain. There's no need, witness. You could have easily seen another source of light. Perhaps one of the McCoys lit a candle because of the blackout. The witness clearly described a source of blue light. A candle or lantern wouldn't emit a color like that. Then the witness was clearly mistaken. The witness records everything he sees in his notebook. He even remembers the exact times that each event occurred. So why would he be incorrect about such a clear and obvious detail? No, what the witness saw was clearly some form of magic. And due to the lack of power, it couldn't have been artificery. It must have been an arcane spell. That's it. What is it, witness? I must have made an incorrect assumption. Please allow me to revise my testimony. What do you think of this, Prosecutor Steelwind? If the witness wants to revise his testimony, then I see no harm in obliging him. And you, Mr. Cuthbert? If he thinks he saw something different, then it's only fair to hear him out. You'll tear through each of his lies, no matter what he does. I remember now. Yesterday it was revealed that Linhart was killed using magic. I must have seen Linhart's daughter channeling a magic spell. The spell was called Mage Blade, am I correct? That's it, the blue glow that I saw must have been created by Mage Blade. Oh my goodness, dude. I see. So the blue light that you saw came from the defendant's magic. Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin with your cross-examination. With pleasure. This is very similar to the demo. I love how the text speeds up when he's cornered. Okay. Mr. Rudolph, you don't know much about magic, do you? Of course not. Are you trying to say that I should have recognized the last Mageblade? No, I admit that you probably wouldn't know about Mageblade. But that's exactly where your mistake was. My mistake? Mr. Rudolph, if you were aware of how Mageblade works, then you would know that spell emits a yellow, radiant glow. Which means the blue glow you saw couldn't have possibly been Mageblade. This is ridiculous. I'll grant you that the witness clearly remembers seeing the blue glow. But what significance could such a minor detail have? It's extremely significant, Prosecutor Steelwind. If the witness did see a blue magical glow, then you must have witnessed another spell at the scene. Preposterous, you don't have any evidence to back up that claim. That blue light made a large impression on the witness. He wrote it down in his book, and he specifically mentioned the color. There's no way he would be mistaken about something like that. So what do you really see, Mr. Rudolph? Did you see my client at the scene casting a spell that she couldn't possibly cast? Or did you see another mage at the scene? Well... Your Honor, the defense has no right to accuse the witness like this. Let me remind you that perjury is a crime, Mr. Rudolph. If you are found to have lied in your testimony, you will be prosecuted. No, wait, please. Now, that is quite enough of that. Garrick Pierce suddenly steps down from the gallery and walks to the witness stand. He's breaking every possible rule in the book, but no one in the room moves to stop him. The bailiff looks to the judge nervously, but the judge just narrows his eyes and carefully watches Pierce. Pierce, meanwhile, shoves the still flustered Rudolph off of the stand and begins addressing the courtroom. What is he even doing here? I will not stand by while you harass my servant. Pierce, we discussed this. There's no need for you to take the stand. And what, pray tell, did they discuss? Nonsense. I have nothing to hide. And if you had done your job properly, I wouldn't have needed to intervene. For the first time, Steelwind doesn't seem to have control of the situation. What is the meaning of this, Miss Steelwind? Who is this man? This is Garrick Pierce, Your Honor. That is Lord Garrick Pierce to you, Steelwind. I am the honorable heir to the Pierce noble house. In any case, I must apologize. I'm afraid that these misunderstandings are entirely my fault. What do you mean? You see, Rudolph wasn't the one who witnessed the crime that fateful night. It was me. I was the one who witnessed the crime. I had my driver report the body so that I could remain anonymous. What? Are you saying that you had Rudolph lie for you? I simply dictated it to him what I saw and had him repeat that to law enforcement. It simply wouldn't do for a member of nobility to appear publicly in court. Lord Pierce. Regardless of your intentions, this is a very clear act of perjury. And from the looks of the judge's face, you can easily tell that he won't face any actual consequences. I understand, and I will accept the consequences of that. But I would be remiss if Rudolph's shoddy testimony allowed that girl to escape her crimes. Please let me testify as to what I saw that night. Very well. This is highly irregular, but I believe that the court will benefit from hearing your testimony. However, know that this misconduct has hurt your credibility. Very well. On the night of the murder, I found myself unable to sleep, so I went on a leisurely carriage ride around Cornhaven. I happened to be passing by the McCoy Tavern when I heard a loud commotion from within the building. Curious, I stopped my carriage and took a single step inside the establishment. Then, I saw the scene inside. I saw the defendant stabbing that poor man twice with her sword. Garrick Pierce. He's a member of the nobility.
That means he's probably a mage, right? And he's the only other mage that was there that night. Does that mean...
There's no doubt about it. He's the only person that could have left a trace of transmutation on the body. He has to be the mage we're looking for. Sorry, this must be a lot for you right now.
Don't worry about me. Focus on taking him down.
If you asked the tavern entrance, that would mean he was here. You saw the entire scene from the tavern entrance? It'd be quite art considering the lights weren't operational, even if my client was using Mageblade at the time. Of course, I had forgotten that detail. I couldn't see what was happening, so I used magic to illuminate the scene. Used magic at the crime scene? Yes, I remember it clearly. I conjured a blue light to illuminate the scene. That same blue light must have been what my driver saw. I thought that Rudolph didn't witness the crime at all.
If I had to guess, Mr. Rudolph must have seen the blue light from the carriage. He must have made that detail a part of his testimony earlier.
That actually makes a lot of sense, now that you think about it. Rudolph was so sure that he saw a blue light. It would be strange if he was lying about that. But anyways, which spell do you use to illuminate the crime scene? It was the Conjure Light spell. Luxo. Your Honor, the witness used magic at the crime scene, then I'd like the spell for his spell companion to be added to the court record.
I see no reason to invade the witness's privacy over a trivial illumination spell. I agree. The defense would need a stronger reason to requisition this witness's spell companion.
Right you are, Your Honor. Your wisdom is truly fitting of your station. Oh, shut up. 5, 10, 15. Wait, 5, 10, 15, 20. Yeah, definitely not.
Objection!
Lord Pierce, you said that you illuminated the scene from the tavern entrance, and you only took a single step into the building. Of course. I remember it very clearly. I stood only at the entrance. Oh, you can right click. I didn't know that. In that case, I'd like for you to take a look at the map of the tavern. If we take a look at this map, that would place you right here, where the W is. Am I correct? Of course I was. I do not know what you wish to achieve by having me repeat that fact. Well, I find it interesting that you illuminated the crime scene from all the way back there, considering that Conjure Light only illuminates an area within 15 feet. What?
The spell's range is irrelevant. We have already established that the victim would have been illuminated by Mageblade.
During his testimony, Lord Pierce clearly stated that he couldn't see what was happening. That's why he cast Conjure Light in the first place. However, Conjure Light doesn't work like a normal source of light. It only provides illumination up to 15 feet of the caster and no further. If he had stayed at the entrance, his spell wouldn't have done anything to help illuminate the scene.
But what does this mean? Lord Pierce, did you illuminate the crime scene or not?
Well, I can answer that question for you, Your Honor. Lord Pierce did illuminate the crime scene. He illuminated because he was standing right where it happened.
Mr. Cuthbert, are you trying to say Lord Pierce was close to where the murder occurred? How would that be possible?
Well, there's only one way this scenario would make sense, Your Honor. And that would be if Garrick Pierce was the one who murdered Flintheart McCoy. Hold on for a moment. This is absurd. I could have easily used a different spell to illuminate the room.
And which spell would that be, Pierce?
The name escapes me. I'm not sure which one it was now that I think about it.
You idiot.
Well, maybe we can figure it out together. When you relinquish your spell compendium to the court.
What?
This is a clear violation of my privacy.
Student, why aren't you objecting to this? If you had listened to my instructions, you wouldn't be in this situation. You made your bed, now lie in it. Steelwind, you treacherous. That's enough. It appears that the prosecution has no objections. With everything that has occurred, I must ask that Lord Pierce relinquish his spell compendium to the court.
Interesting.
Good job, Tyrion. We got his spell compendium.
With that, this case is as good as yours. Or is it? She didn't even try to stop you from taking a spell compendium. She wouldn't let that happen just to spite Lord Pierce. She definitely still has something up her sleeve. Your Honor, I've looked at the spells in Lord Pierce's compendium. Conjure Light is the only spell that he can cast that would shed a blue light. This renders his testimony and many of his statements false. You can practically hear Lord Pierce grinding his teeth. Your Honor, Lord Pierce could very well be a suspect in the murder of Flintheart McCoy. The defense argues that this presents enough reasonable doubt to acquit the defendant.
I acknowledge that Lord Pierce's actions are quite suspect. However, I will not pass a verdict just yet. There's much more we need to learn. What? That's not how it works. We proved that there's reasonable doubt. That should be enough to acquit me, right?
Well, not in these games. In a normal case, maybe, but it's different for this trial. The public won't accept an unsolved homicide involving magic. Unless we can unequivocally prove your innocence, the court will keep drawing up this case.
What? But that's not fair.
That's just how the system works. Our court system doesn't exist to exact justice. It exists so the kingdom can save face.
No. However, the court will be suspending the trial of Celeste McCoy until further notice. That is until Lord Pierce can be investigated as a possible suspect.
Objection?
Objection!
Right.
A possible suspect? The very idea of that is preposterous, Your Honor.
Damn it, you knew she was planning something.
Let's revisit the basic facts of this case, shall we? Flintheart McCoy was murdered using a blade with a transmutation spell active on it. Mr. Cuthbert, why don't you tell me the spells that Lord Pierce knows?
Alright. His spells are Prestidigitation, Conjure Light, Conjure Water, Frostwave, and Shape Liquid.
You realized it too, haven't you? Lord Pierce doesn't know any transmutation spells that can be channeled through a solid object.
What? That can't be right.
Huh, you're right. You're absolutely right, Lady Steelwind. I couldn't have possibly committed the murder. I see. With that in mind, that would leave the defendant as the only possible killer. But he was the only other mage there. He has to be the real murderer.
But he doesn't know any transmutation spells that can affect a solid object.
We can't prove that he stabbed him while casting magic. Wait a minute. How did he do it then?
She's right. How did he do it?
If there were traces of transmutation magic on the wound, then Flintheart was definitely stabbed by something magical. But none of his transmutation spells can affect the steel blade. Does that mean he used something else? The defense did cast some doubt on this witness's testimony. Nevertheless, I must conclude that he could not possibly committed the murder. With that in mind...
Please wait, Your Honor. We still can't conclude that Lord Pierce couldn't have committed the crime. What are you on about? Lady Steelwind's at it herself, you commoner. I don't know any spells that can be channeled through a metal blade. He's right, which can only mean one thing. You didn't use a metal blade, did you?
What nonsense is this? The autopsy report clearly states that the wound was created by a blade. If he didn't channel magic through a blade, how could he have possibly committed the crime? Yes, your claim seems quite contrary to the facts thus far, Mr. Cuthbert. Which spell could Lord Pierce have possibly used to kill the victim?
Had to be... not this one. Not this one. I wish this was organized by people.
You see, Your Honor,
Garrick Pierce didn't kill the victim using a sword. He killed him using an object shaped exactly like a sword.
What? I'm afraid I don't quite understand, Mr. Cuthbert.
I'd like for the court to take a look at Lord Pierce's spell compendium. Garrick Pierce knows a seemingly insignificant spell called Shape Liquid. With it, he can control a body of water and shape it into any complex shape he wants. This seems really broken. Like, you could do some crazy stuff with that.
Then he can freeze that liquid, maintaining its current shape.
A shape like a sword.
What? No, is it possible that he...
What do I have to say for yourself? I think it's you. Lord Pierce? What do I have to say? Pierce's breathing becomes more frantic. He's clearly not being used to be put in a corner like this. You can see his stress and frustration emanating through the eye of Horus. You have him now. Time for the finishing blow. I'll tell you exactly what I have to say, you commoner. I'm not the one on trial here. We're here because that bastard child didn't know her place. She's just a peasant, yet she still learned the arcane arts. And look what happened. I saw the murder. I witnessed everything. That girl used her holy arts to murder her father in a fit of rage. And how, pray tell, did you see everything? If you recall, you testified that you only took a single step inside the inn. Or you would have needed to be 15 feet to see my client with conjured light. This again? If you're going to keep treading on that one detail, then I admit it. I stepped further into the inn. I kept that detail out of my testimony, all because I knew you'd use it to cast suspicion on me. Lord Pierce. Well, you didn't just keep that detail from your testimony, did you? You testified the opposite. That makes you guilty of committing perjury.
No, I mean... you miserable wretch.
And let's not stop there. For your story to be true, you would have needed to be 15 feet of my client. According to your testimony, my client had just finished committing a murder. Wouldn't she have noticed you? If you were that close, then surely you would have been close enough to apprehend her. So why didn't you? Don't you have a duty to your citizens? Shut up. Shut your dirty peasant mouth. That woman was armed. I had no reason to put my life in danger. She was wielding her sword after the murder. I was terrified when I saw her holding that bloody weapon. Ooh, what an idiot. My life was in danger. But that can't be right, can it, Lord Pierce? This photo of the crime scene shows that the sword was left in the victim's body. How could she still be wielding her sword if she left it there? What? Damn you. Damn you! Steelwind, why aren't you saying anything? What? Prosecutor Steelwind has lost her usual air of confidence. You find it strange, though. Even when you had the advantage, she always maintained her usual poise. Lord Pierce, please pull yourself together. How can I remain calm when the charlatan is trying to frame me? This is a complete travesty of our justice system. I came here to reveal the truth and testify against that criminal, and what do I get instead? Slander from some lowly defense attorney. We talk about justice, but you committed several acts of perjury to twist the outcome of this trial. You're clearly not acting in good faith. You don't care about justice, you just want to further your agenda. So admit it, Pierce, you created a makeshift sword using shaped liquid and you used it to impale Flintheart. You shoved my client's sword into the wound while the remnants of the real murder weapon evaporated. It was the perfect crime, wasn't it? Haha. What?
Lord Pierce. My apologies, Your Honor. It's just, I realized something absolutely hilarious.
What, has he finally lost his mind?
The defense put together an interesting theory, but there's one problem with it.
And what's that?
I think you said it yourself.
You shoved Celeste's sword into the wound while the remnants of the real murder weapon evaporated.
You see, it would have been the perfect crime, because any evidence to support that theory would have evaporated with the frozen blade. What?
No, he's right. If he used an ice blade to kill Flintheart, it would have evaporated by now.
Then that means there would be nothing left of the murder weapon. You've spun quite the tale here today, but in the end, you don't have a shred of evidence to support it, do you? You have nothing on me. Isn't there anything we can do?
You become quiet.
Tyrion? Why is he saying anything? Is it really hopeless?
Sorry. All it takes is one look at the expression on your face. Any worries she has instantly disappears, because she realizes the expression on your face, it's the same expression you made every time you defeated her.
Well, what is this? You can glare at me all you want. It won't change the fact that you've lost.
I despise people like you. You twist the system to serve your own ends. You trample on the lives of innocent people. But as long as I'm here, I will never let that happen again.
Naught can remain concealed.
Oh my god, that was so intense. Ugh, what did I just do? Your head feels like it's about to burst. The pain is unbearable and overwhelming. But at the same time, you feel an extreme sense of clarity, as if you could see more than you could before. I can't believe this peasant pushed me this far. Once again, you see Pierce's thoughts through the eye of Horus, but it feels different than usual. It's more intense and potent this time. It's almost as if you can do more than just read his surface thoughts. So let's do this. Why am I thinking of such a thing? What an ornate sword. I wonder how a commoner like her obtained such a thing. I wonder if the Inquisition will let me have it when this girl is convicted. Okay, man, fuck you. This guy sucks. Even now, that image is still lingering in my mind. I didn't expect this experience to have such an effect on me. Oh my gosh. Why am I thinking? After all of the trouble I went to, I can't believe that lawyer figured out the spell I used. Well, no matter, it's not just there any evidence to prove that I used it. I'm lucky that old fool had that bottle of water with him. Water from a bottle? Wait, a bottle?
Oh, well then.
As riveting as this has been, I believe it's time for me to take my leave.
Now wait a minute, Pierce. What is it now, you wretch? I'll say it as many times as you need to hear.
There is no evidence of a liquefied weapon at the crime scene. You're right, Pierce. If you did use shaped liquid on a body of water, the murder weapon would have evaporated entirely.
Ah, it seems you finally got to that fact through your thick head.
Bravo. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, Pierce. What if you didn't use shaped liquid on a body of water? What if it was another type of liquid? What are you going on about? Pierce, shaped liquid doesn't just work on water. It works on all kinds of liquids. This shattered bottle contained the liquid that you cast your spell on, didn't it? You show him the picture of the shattered bottle of lotus juice.
That bottle?
Pierce, I found this shattered bottle on the ground near the entrance of the McCoy Inn. I wonder what caused it to shatter. You must have decided to use any liquid you could find. Luckily for you, the victim was holding the perfect quantity of liquid in his hands. I wonder, Lord Pierce, if we had someone analyze the broken pieces of this bottle, would we find traces of transmutation magic?
You little... That still proves nothing. So what if there are traces of magic on the shattered bottle? You still don't have a murder weapon?
I wasn't finished, Pierce. What? You see, the liquid contained in this bottle wasn't water. It was soda.
So, what difference does that make?
A blade of ice made out of water would have evaporated entirely. But a blade of ice made out of soda would leave a puddle of dried residue.
No, it can't be.
I wondered whether there was such a circular trace of magic under the body. If we check the outline of that trace, I bet we find a dried puddle of soda residue. That would prove that you used your magic on that soda. There's your murder weapon, Pierce. And that's checkmate. That's a little cheesy, Tyrion.
Bailiff, tell Orem to analyze the crime scene at once. We must determine if this puddle of soda residue exists. The time window to find traces of magic is closing.
Okay, she's sports chef. So we had our team search the crime scene for that soda puddle. I really can't believe it, but we found it. In fact, the outline of dried soda lines up exactly with the outline of the trace of transmutation magic. We checked the broken bottle too. There were traces of transmutation magic on it as well. There's no doubt about it. Someone used magic on that soda.
I see. Thank you, Orem. Please escort Lord Pierce back to the stand.
What do you have to say for yourself, Pierce?
What do you think you've accomplished here today? Do you honestly think you can indict me? I'm an aristocrat for the highest echelons of our society. That fool of a man was an insurgent. He was a threat to society, and I did my civic duty by removing him.
Objection!
Bailiff, please escort the witness to a holding cell. Steelwind. First-degree murder is punishable by execution, Lord Pierce. I suggest you remain silent, lest you incriminate yourself further. What? You can't be serious. Shut your insidious mouth. Well, what are you all waiting for? Take him away. Yes, take him away at once.
Dude acting like he did something. Oh, wait, what am I doing?
Tyrion, It's all she can do to hold back her tears.
You don't need to say anything. Your face says it all.
Thank you. You've more than exceeded my expectations today.
Miss Tamora.
I'll be honest, when I realized that the murder weapon evaporated, I thought that the case was shot. I can't believe you were able to turn that around.
It was just luck. If he had used water, we would have been done for.
It had nothing to do with luck. You were able to deduce which liquid he used. And you did it by just looking at a few shards of broken glass. Your skills of deduction never cease to amaze me.
That's not exactly true. But with Celestia, you can't tell her about your new ability.
You all are quite lively. There's no need for such hostility. Though I wouldn't expect any less from the Hound of the Eye Taker.
Wait, what did she mean by that? You glance at Miss Tamora, but when she meets your gaze, she immediately looks away. She looks like she's focusing, almost as if to protect herself from a certain eye.
I must admit, I was hoping to test my blade against you directly. However, your protege proved to be a worthy adversary.
Thank you?
Is this some kind of game to you? We talk about trials as if there's some kind of competition. Your action almost condemned an innocent woman to death. Our system operates by having two powers of opposition. When those powers should balance, justice prevails. Make no mistake, your victim today was just our system working as intended.
I like her.
Huh, working as intended? You know very well our system only exists to protect your people.
I know. What?
In any case, it looks like we'll be facing each other more frequently in the future. I look forward to doing battle with you again, Tyrion Cuthbert.
What a strange girl.
Well, that kinda killed the mood, didn't it? Not at all. I think we should celebrate. Oh, what did you have in mind? There's this amazing restaurant in the upper quarter of the capital city. They usually only serve nobles, but they let anyone in if they have enough gold.
Wait, do we have enough gold?
Of course we do. Don't worry about the details. I'll handle everything.
Wait, just how much money does Mr. Moore make? He's like, well, am I not getting paid? Let me in on this. And so began my journey into the world of law and magic. Our justice system was brought into its core. I'll have many trials ahead. Regardless, I'll keep fighting on and get justice for every one of my clients. Oh, we did it. That was a good episode. Celeste is very likable. Miss Tamora is rather scary, but likable. And Arya Steelwind is also quite likable. She doesn't seem evil, which is a good start. So yeah, thank you all for going through chapter 1 with me. Hopefully I will be back in a few days to finish chapter 2. I have to take a bit of a break to do other stuff. But bye. Wait, sorry, it might not be bye. Let me finish this first.
I knew it, his radiant soul has finally awakened. I can't believe it. I've been waiting for so long.
I'm so scared.
I can't wait for the day when I can see his eyes draped in agony.
I'm scared. Okay, we're good.